Good morning, welcome to Bitcoin Bounce. My name is Joseph and today I'm here with Dion and we're looking at the price of Bitcoin and we're also going to look at the excellent trading opportunity on THETA BTC. Good morning, Dion. What's happening with Bitcoin?
Good morning, guys. Let's quickly have a look at the market indicators. US dollar. We had that big pullback, found support, and we've now got it running back up again. But remember, today is non-farm day, so it's a massive volatile day, and no one ever knows what exactly is going to happen and what to expect. So this pump could be for that they're setting us up to bring it back down or to push it higher. So either way, we have to be careful today. It is a massive news event. Then you can see, because of this pump that we've had now, all the other markets are slightly down. So Nasdaq has a bit of a pullback, the S&P 500 as well starting to pull back, gold starting to pull back, the money flow into altcoins also starting to pull back, and all the altcoin perpetual futures index also starting to pull back. So you can just see it makes just a massive change. Whatever the dollar is doing nowadays just affects everything, and even the BTC dominance you can see is also pulling back at the moment. So if we just look maybe at Ethereum quickly, so Ethereum still running sideways. It's above this 135 level and going for 1.4, but basically just moving sideways. The good news on both Ethereum and Bitcoin is the EMA ribbon that we regularly follow as eventually broken above. So you can see for a very, very long time we've been under the EMA ribbon, and once it actually goes above or below and tests support and stays there, it's normally a very long run that you can see from there. We were under it and it's just stayed under for very, very long. So now at last we've had a breakthrough. We've had our first successful retest as well, and now retesting is a second time, but it's really looking good as if we've broken this EMA ribbon and hoping to hold it. So if we do, then it could be for a long time up run. Then BTC, we can have a look at the same thing also for our chart. You can see also the EMA ribbon, we broke above here, came back, retested, had a good retest, and now retesting again. It doesn't matter if it drops lower into this, sometimes it could come right down to the bottom but still hold support and go back up again. So for now it's looking good. The one thing I have noticed though is this M pattern on the 4-hour and the 1-hour on Bitcoin. So this is a reversal pattern and would normally be the start of a downside, so we could be maybe in for a downside down to the bottom. The support line here that we've been holding for quite some time could be a possibility. I don't think so. This whole week I've been thinking that we're going to break the 20,400 and let them make us feel very, very positive and people open longs, and just when we hit this 20,800 and the news breaks with the non-farm-payrolls that they might bring us down, slam us down to this bottom level again. So that's kind of what I was expecting. Maybe that's why nothing really is happening. We're just moving sideways. And also in the meantime you can just see this 20,400 level. We've just hit it so many times. You can see all the times here I've marked for us that we've actually just haven't been able to break it, and yet again we're still struggling to break through that level, and overall just we've got our big supply zone up at the top here whenever we hit that. So that's around about 22,000. We have a massive pullback back down, and our demand zone down here, whenever we hit that we go immediately start going up again, and between that we're just fighting between 19,000 and this 20,400. But for now, we'll have to wait for this day to pass and this news to pass to see what happens. I think on Monday the weekend might also be a bit volatile after the news, but I think they're definitely planning something for us. Then the fear and greed index still very, very fearful, and altcoin season index. So altcoins are not performing well against Bitcoin at the moment. Also, I think because of that fear in the market at the moment, no one's sure what's going to happen today with the big news event. The trade that we are looking at is THETA BTC. So we find our support here between 530, 537. We haven't broken that in a very long time, so it's a strong kind of support zone there, and I would just wait. So remember, we're wanting to trade Bitcoin against THETA, so we would need Bitcoin to pull back. So if you watch the news today, this is a good place to watch the news, forexfactory.com. You can just set synchronize your local time, and it would then show you exactly what time this news is going to break. So South African time, it's 2:30. It's the non-farm and then the unemployment rate. So if this is good for the dollar is definitely going to start pushing up. If the dollar pushes up, then Bitcoin is going to go down. But they might just fake us and push Bitcoin up as well, but it would just be to get people to go into longs, and then they're going to short it. So the one to watch is actually just the dollar. So if this news is good for the dollar and the dollar starts running up, then one can get into this THETA trade, because that would then mean that eventually, even if Bitcoin has a fake out, it's definitely going to start dropping, and this would then be a good entry. Yeah, and I think we could go for at least like a 10% run before Bitcoin would find support again and start going up. So before you get into this, we have to wait for the news to break and see if it's good for the dollar. I think you can get into this trade, and Bitcoin eventually will start pulling back, and then that would mean that this THETA is going to pump. That's it from me, Joseph.
Awesome, thank you, Dion. Yeah, I really like this THETA BTC trade. When I look on my RSI on a 4-hour, I saw it just dipped below the 30, and then it made a higher low. So that's actually a perfect entry for trading the THETA BTC coin. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, guys, be careful with non-farm-payrolls. If you use a DCA strategy and you buy in lower and lower, I think it's safe to trade. Just make sure you get your trades in before the time. Don't do it, within 30 minutes before the time, because then usually a lot of the places don't receive trades, or they push up the fees for trades tremendously. So if you want to trade the non-farms, draw your levels and then determine where you think you can put 2 or 3 safety orders on your DCA in, and then if it spike to the downside, then you can maybe with that thick finger grab a few entries, and then when it reverses to the upside, then at least you can take profit. Usually with non-farm payrolls, the market spikes either upwards or downwards, and it takes about 3 to 4 days to come back to that same level where it was just before non-farm payrolls, unless the number have a big change. If the number has a big change, then usually in the direction it spikes, it just stays there, and then the spike, if you measure the length of the spike, a similar length, it will then continue in that same direction. So that's kind of what happens in non-farms. Dion, I really like this THETA BTC trade. I can see there's about in July the 21st it went there, and then in the 13th of September, and now we're in October. On the 5th it made another dip, so this is definitely a good entry position. At the least there's 10% profit, but if I measure it, you could even go as much as 30% take profit on this, because that's kind of like the range is about 30%, 35% from low to high, or from where we are now to the high. So that's really awesome. Alright guys, we're going to be back in a little bit. I want to talk about the 5 top whales, what they are buying. So big investors are right now stocking up on a lot of the altcoins. You can see on the volumes of the altcoins that's being bought right now, a lot of them, especially on the dips, are buying right now. And so a reason why the many of the altcoins are not falling as much as they should be falling is because so many of the whales are stocking up on it. So in this next session, I just want to play you a clip of an analysis And what they do, they list about 30 coins that all the big whales are buying. And I think even if you just take a small position on each one of them, on most of these coins, there's a 3x, many of them a 10x or a 20x profit possibility. So, you know, on a long-term investment, if you would buy just maybe, like, let's say just $50 on each one of them, after a year, you'll definitely would have probably tripled your money or even far more than that. So that's what we're doing. Thank you very much, Dion. Great analysis. I'm just very impressed with Bitcoin, how stable it is. I think there's a lot of confidence that's being built in the market right now because of the stability of Bitcoin. You know, although the market and all the other markets are fluctuating, Bitcoin is actually relatively stable. Thank you, Dion.
Thanks, guys. See you just now.